tutorial about our project in science, which is called Design Your Own Practical. Okay, so if you look at the worksheet that I have given you, you will see that there were um, four, okay, apparatus and materials, and the materials were baking soda, okay, vinegar, and the apparatus was a balloon and a conical flask. Okay, and it even had a picture of a conical flask. Looks something like this. Okay, now before you can do this, you really need to know your variables. Okay, you need to know your independent variable and your dependent variable and your controlled variable, but more specifically the important ones are the independent and the dependent variable. Okay, once you master that, everything else will be really easy. Okay, so you need to think about your testable question. What is a testable question? Basically, what do you want to find out? Okay, what do you want to find out? Now, in our last experiment, we used baking soda and vinegar. Okay, and we know that if we put together baking soda, okay, plus vinegar, there will be a reaction which will produce a gas, okay, and this gas is carbon dioxide. So we know there will be a gas. Now make the connection, okay? Gas will be produced and you are supplied with a balloon and a conical flask. So, what do you think the conical flask is for? And what do you think the balloon is for? Okay? So, the clue here, baking soda plus vinegar will surely have a reaction. Okay? So, what are you measuring? Okay? Now, based on our class discussion, okay, you said that there are two things that we can measure. Okay? One of the things that we can measure is the amount, okay, of carbon dioxide produced. Okay? Another thing we can measure is the rate of reaction. Okay, the speed. How fast will the baking soda and vinegar produce carbon dioxide? Okay, so remember, a dependent variable is what we measure. So when we say, what do we measure? This is our dependent variable. And you choose, what do you want to measure? Do you want to measure the amount of carbon dioxide produced? Or do you want to measure the rate of reaction? Okay? You have to make a choice. Okay? Now, next we have to look at our variables. Okay? As we said, we have baking soda, vinegar, balloon, and conical flask. So, remember what we did before? Okay? We made a variable donut. Okay? And what was inside the variable donut? All the things that can affect either the amount of CO2 produced or the speed of reaction. So, in the class discussion, we said that, okay, we can change the amount of vinegar. We can change because vinegar is one of our materials, one of the chemicals we're using. Okay? We can also change the amount of baking soda. Okay? Again, because baking soda is another chemical we're using. And then some of you said we can change the size of the balloon. Okay? Or we can change the size of the conical flask. So again, these are all the factors that you can change. Now, of all these factors, which one do you want to be the independent variable? So take note, independent variable, if you remember from our discussions, is the only thing you change, okay? So independent variable is only thing that is changed, okay? And when you say only thing, how many is that? Only. Only means one. You only change one thing. Okay? So there are four possible things you can change: amount of vinegar, size of balloon, amount of baking soda, and size of flask. What do you want to change? Okay? So let's say you decide to change the amount of vinegar. You need to cross it out from the donut and move it to the inside of the donut, the donut hole. So now we put here amount of vinegar. Okay? So now that is your independent variable. Okay? And then automatically everything that's left inside is now a controlled variable. So everything else that you did not choose to be an independent variable becomes a controlled variable. Okay? So let's choose which dependent variable do you want to do. Let's say you want to measure the rate of reaction. Okay? So how will we write the testable question now? Okay? So I want to change the amount of vinegar. Okay? And I want to measure rate of reaction. So how will I write the testable question? Okay? Okay, let's see. Can I add another page here? How will I write a testable question? Okay, so here we have everything. And remember, okay, we are writing a testable question. So the format is, one of the ways you can write it is, how does independent variable affect the dependent variable? Okay, so that is the basic format of a testable question. So do you know what your independent variable is? Let's check. You chose amount of vinegar, so let's just substitute the amount of vinegar. Okay, now what is your DV? Let's check. You said you wanted to test the rate of reaction, so just substitute rate of reaction. That's it. So now let's write it properly. Okay, I'll even type it for you. So how do we write it now? How does the amount of vinegar affect the rate of reaction? Question mark. Okay, so let me make that longer. How does the amount of vinegar affect the rate of reaction? And then if you look here, you will see there is your, okay, there is your independent variable, and there is your dependent variable. Okay, so now how do you write your hypotheses? Okay, first of all, what is a hypothesis? It's an educated, okay? It's an educated prediction or guess because of all you know about rate of reaction, because of our past experiment, okay? So you can make a good prediction. Do you think the amount of vinegar will make the rate of reaction faster or slower? Okay? So, let's take this part of your testable question, okay? And put it in this format, okay? Let's make it easier. As the amount of vinegar the rate of reaction will, okay, as the amount of vinegar, the rate of the reaction will, okay, so it's up to you. What can we put here? You want to change the amount, so either the amount will increase or decrease. You choose, okay? The rate of reaction will, what? Be faster or slower. You choose. You make the decision. And then you write your hypotheses, okay? So I hope this short tutorial helps you complete the first couple of requirements for the design your own practical, because we went through this. You know now what the IV, DV, and CV are. You know how to write your testable question, and you know how to write your hypothesis, okay? Bye bye.